afternoon, sirs. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Please introduce yourself to the board.
My name is Madhav Upadhyay. I was born in Bharatpur, Rajasthan. I did my initial schooling from there only. Then I completed my graduation in electrical engineering from Malviya National Institute of Technology, Jaipur. My hobby is birding.
Please define birding.
Sir, birding is a hobby when a person is interested in birds. He like to watch birds, try to find out different activities of birds, their feeding habits, their migration patterns, where do they come from. So it is a science and study of birds.
So your favorite birds are?
Sir, my particularly favorite bird is Saras crane.
So how many times have you gone to Kela Devi to watch the Saras birds?
Sir, countless time as I was born in Bharatpur, so from a very young age, I am a regular visitor to the park.
So I think some years ago there was a news that now birds are not coming in that great numbers they used to come earlier. What is the condition currently?
Sir, before a few years back, you are right that the birds number were reducing. The main reason is that, firstly, water. If the water is in abundant quantity, the capacity of park is 550 million cubic feet of water. If water is there, then it will have sufficient feed and the birds will come there. Otherwise, the bird will leave the park. Second main reason is the invasive alien species. Few years back, there was a growth of Prosopis juliflora, also known as Videshi babool there, which prevented the growth of natural habitat there. So it prevented the nest and the roosting sites of birds. So these are the two primary reasons why the number were reducing. But since the last 2 or 3 years, there have been alternate supply of water to the park. So there was water in sufficient quantity and the number of nests are increasing.
Some years ago when we were under British control, one of the viceroys shot, I think, more than 20,000 birds in a single day. Do you know the scenario, the case I'm talking about?
Sir, I don't know the particular name, but yes, you are right. In the park also there is a inscription where it contains the list of the visitors who have shot more than thousands of birds there.
So do you think it should be there, that plaque you are referring to? What is the need to have that thing in park today?
Sir, if we see the historical significance of the Kevladev National Park, so the name Kevladev is after the Kevladev Shiv temple. So it was area under Jat rulers. So the rulers there would not have allowed shooting there. It was near a religious place, but due to British rule, they were forced to have such inscription. And moreover, removing an inscription, it shows that during the British era, the wildlife was not protected properly. So it is a reminder that that earlier we were not able to protect wildlife, and now the conservation efforts have started and the wildlife is again increasing in great numbers.
You have mentioned it was under the Jat rulers. So most famous Jat ruler is Surajmal.
Yes, sir.
So do you know the story of Surajmal and the correspondence with Ahmad Shah Abdali?
Sir, I'm not currently exactly able to remember the story, but I will look into it.
Okay. And the role Surajmal played before the third battle of Panipat, are you aware of that?
Sir, I'm not exactly aware, but I have a general idea that there was a treaty with the Jat rulers and the Maratha, so he helped them, and in the third battle of Panipat.
He helped them.
Sir, I am not exactly able to remember, but I think it is a general idea, but I will look into it.
Currently, we have seen that elections are becoming more and more presidential in nature. What are your views on that?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to correctly interpret the term presidential in nature, so I'm not.
Presidential in nature by means, currently we have a parliamentary form of democracy,
Yes,
where MPs, first we elect the MPs and then the group of MPs will elect a person as a prime minister. But currently prime minister phase is projected first, and on basis of that phase we are voting for MPs. That is what I mean. So don't you think our election is becoming more and more presidential in nature, because we are most of the time not voting for the MP which is standing in the area, but for the person who will become the prime minister if we vote for that particular.
Sir, I do not completely agree that our elections are becoming presidential, because the prime minister is the leader of and the face of the party. So he leads the team of the whole MPs and the representatives there. Secondly, any party fought election on the basis of their manifestos and the policies that they will going to make in the upcoming future. So the people's choice depend on those political wills and also the choices that the political party promises in future. So I think that it is not completely becoming presidential in nature.
Not completely, but you think some fact in that statement?
Sir, it cannot be completely denied that the face of the president, face of the prime ministers or the leader of the party is not there to which affects the elections. But it is not the only criteria that people vote upon.
You are from Rajasthan.
Yes, sir.
Rajasthan is witnessing again and again cases of child marriages in a large number every year on specific dates. So what is the major reason that we are in 21st century, government is doing so much, so awareness campaigns are going on so many, then still we are facing these problems?
Sir, if we look at the National Family Health Survey 5 data, Rajasthan is not in the top 10 states where child marriages have increased, but there have been quite incidences of child marriages because firstly the awareness level is low in Rajasthan, and also if we see the literacy rate of Rajasthan, it is about 66%, which is below the national average. So this is the prime reason that the child marriages are occurring. So if we see the trend of child marriages, they occur on a particular date. For example, Akshaya Tritiya is one of the occasion where child marriages are there. So the government is taking steps to increase police protection also there on this auspicious days, so that the child marriages are can be curbed and reduced.
You have taken geology as one of your optional subjects, but you have done computer science, I think.
Electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering. So what is the reason of taking geology?
So during my third year of engineering, I was doing a project on exploration of hydrocarbons. So from there, I came to know about the various geological structures that were present and became interested in geology. So that's why I took it as an option.
That's it. Thank you.
Madhav,
Yes, sir.
you have studied geology.
Yes, sir.
It is said overdue. There is earthquake long overdue in India. Why is it said so?
Pardon, sir. Can you please repeat?
Earthquake is long overdue of higher Richter scale. Recently, it was reported after Turkey. It's India's chance to witness such a massive earthquake. Do you have any idea about it?
Sir, if we see the earthquake zoning of India, it is divided into 4 major zones, zone 2, 3, 4 and 5. So the areas which lies in zone 5 have a chances of having a greater magnitude of earthquake, mainly the tectonic active areas, for example the Himalayan belts, the Bhuj area in Gujarat and the island regions. So these are the areas where earthquake can occur.
Okay, is there any way to predict earthquake? Because they said 3 days prior to the earthquake they predicted it. Is there any way?
Sir, if we look the science behind the when an earthquake occurs, the earthquake seismic waves, they travel at the speed of 8 to 13 km per second, which is much less than the speed of light. So currently we cannot exactly predict when earthquake will occur. There are no early warning systems there, but we can predict that if an earthquake has occurred under the surface of the earth, we can predict that before a few seconds that whether it will be able to strike at a particular area.
But
we cannot predict in very much advance.
But how did they predict it 3 days before?
Sir, I don't know about that issue, but I will look into it. But as per my understanding, we cannot predict earthquake in future, whether it will occur or not.
Okay. Do you think like Turkey type earthquake occurs in India, we are prepared?
Sir, I think that we are prepared because if an earthquake like situation occurs in India, then we have the National Disaster Management Act, and according to that we have response forces. So we can send particular response forces for rehabilitation and mitigation of the earthquake.
Are we prepared to face it, or we are prepared for the post disaster?
Sir, in particular areas where the earthquake zoning is high, so we are prepared, like seismic retrofitting is done in certain houses. So the bolting of the structures with the walls is there, and there are also certain methods and drills which prepare people. If there is an earthquake, they used to hide beneath the tables, and accordingly awareness programs are there.
Okay, you have studied electrical engineering and you must have studied physics as well, I guess.
Yes, sir.
What is the physics behind the boomerang? If we throw the boomerang, it comes back.
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to remember right now, but I will look into it.
Okay. You have studied from Malviya National Institute of Technology.
Yes, sir.
What is the contribution of Madan Mohan Malviya?
Sir, Honorable Mahamana Madan Mohan Malviya ji was a great social activist and a freedom fighter. He was the president of the Indian National Congress 4 times. He also did a lot to remove untouchability in the country, and also led a march inside a temple so that all sectors can be given entrance inside the temples. Also, if we see his contribution in the press, he revived Hindustan Times, and apart from that, he was also honored with Bharat Ratna in 2014.
Okay, sir.
He was one of the founder of the Hindu Mahasabha. Sir, that I'm not aware, but I will know. Sir, again, I'm not aware about that, but I will look into it. Sir, I don't know about
Devrala controversy, in Rajasthan.
Sir, pardon, can you please repeat?
Devrala.
No,
Place for Devrala in Rajasthan.
no, sir, I don't know.
No. Star network and Delta network. Do you know difference? Electrical.
Sir, right now I don't remember, but I've studied the star and delta connection, but currently I don't
In
remember.
the homes or offices, which type of connection there?
Sir, I don't know.
The hypocenter of
Sir, hypocenter is the focus of the earthquake. The epicenter is the point above the focus at the surface. Sir, if we see the geological status of Turkey, it is situated at the Anatolian plate, and which is at the trijunction of 3 plates, which are the African plate, the Eurasian, and the Arabian plate. So it is at a trijunction. So there are seismic activities there. So it is a highly probable zone for earthquakes.
Are they the eruption activities, volcanic activities?
So right now there are no eruption activities, but in geological, sir, in India we have volcanoes in Andaman and Nicobar Island, in the barren islands. That is the.
The Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Are they living volcanoes or dead volcanoes?
So they are dead volcanoes.
Then, sir, why is there black soil in Karnataka, and Maharashtra, and Gujarat region when there is no volcano activity here?
Sir, volcano activities as such was not there, but during around 65 million years ago, when there was separation of the plates, there were Deccan volcanic provinces. There was a fissure eruptions when the Indian place was passing over Union Islands. There was a fissure,
Sir.
and there was.
What are the components of good essay?
Sir, the components of good essay are said it must be structured, it must have an introduction and a conclusion, and the body part should relate to the topic what is asked.
The essay is different from before.
Sir, essay is a continuous flow of ideas. It also includes literary devices, use of literary devices, while reports directly presents the data and facts and in an organized manner.
India has essay writing in the past.
Sir, that I'm exactly not aware about any such essays that were
Has
there.
Prasar Bharati experiment failed?
Pardon, can you please?
Prasar Bharati, have you heard?
Yes, sir, Prasar Bharati.
If the experiment failed, or what happens?
Sir, it has not failed. If we see the Prasar Bharati, it was constituted in the Prasar Bharati Act of 1990, which was started in 1997. Under Prasar Bharati, there are two public service broadcasters. One is the radio public service broadcaster, which is the All India Radio, and another one is Doordarshan. So if we see the revenue of Prasar Bharati, it has grown like 13% year on year on the last 2 years. So it has not completely failed.
Is it in profit or loss?
So it is in profit right now.
Profit.
Yes, sir.
But the earlier loss is covered.
So earlier losses too.
Covered. FM radio do not know about the current affairs. The broadcaster. What would be
Sir, can you please repeat?
FM radio?
Yes, sir.
They do not know the current affair news to be broadcasted.
Sir, it is not likely the case. If we see Vivid Bharati, there is a special program for news there, and also many such programs like Spotlight is there, which have a direct conversation about the current issues around the world. So FM broadcasts the news.
Lithium-ion batteries will be a crucial part of it.
Yes, sir.
How?
Sir, if we see any solar vehicle or any electric vehicle, the main power it derives from a battery, and right now we are using lithium-ion battery because it has large recharge cycles, and also if we see the electrical potential of a lithium-ion battery, which is higher than the lead-acid batteries, and it is safe than other batteries, so we use lithium-ion batteries.
Lithium found in India.
Sir, right now news it has been claimed that in Jammu and Kashmir region there is lithium reserves there.
Suppose hydroelectric project is there and solar project is there. Suppose both are the same cost. What will you do?
Sir, I would prefer solar.
Directly in, but solar requires saving of battery. Therefore, saving the battery in any way.
Sir, but hydroelectric are not continuous sources of energy. They are, if it requires a particular time where the reservoir can be opened and in the spillway there can be water, and we can use the remaining water, and the excess of energy that is of no use at that time. So we use it to again refill the reservoir. So, but in solar energy, it can be used daily on a daily basis, as sunlight is there almost on a daily basis. So night it is not there, but on the daytime we can recharge the batteries, and in the night we can use it.
But table tennis, why China dominant?
Sir, there are few reasons. If we see the history and the evolution of table tennis, it was started in China as ping pong. In many parlors also there, it is an amateur sport which is played on a daily basis. And if we see the training program in China, the players are trained from a very young age, and they have an intensive training program. These are the reasons why China dominate.
January this year, who was the guest of India?
Sir, the President of Egypt, Honorable Abdel Al Fattah Al Sisi.
Which party belonged to you?
Sir, that I don't know.
Was he a democratic leader? Is he a democratic leader of Egypt?
Sir, again, that I don't know, but I will look into it.
How do you define the rural area?
Sir, a rural area is defined if the economy is primarily based on agriculture, and they are not the urban facilities like infrastructure and other things that are not present. So we can define a rural area according to that.
Is it a like separate definition? Like
Sir, it is not an accepted definition, but based on a general understanding, I am defining
shall we
it.
promote the rural areas or urban areas?
Sir, we should promote a cluster of both rural areas and urban areas. Both are necessary, as rural areas primarily provides us with the agriculture and the food processing sector, and the urban facilities provides us with the services and other sectors. So we should promote both.
So smart villages first or smart cities first?
So smart villages first, because if we see primarily the most of the over 50% of India's population resides in villages, and it is still a agriculture dominant economy. So smart villages should be adopted first.
So you belong from Bharatpur, right?
Yes, sir.
Your place of birth. So let me know some facts about Bharatpur. Any important thing or interesting story that you want to? Bharatpur.
Sir, one of the major sites is the Keoladeo National Park, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So if we see the history of the park, initially it is based on a saucer-shaped platform. So the water used to collect there. In the agriculture fields, water used to submerge the agriculture fields. So to prevent that, then the ruler of Bharatpur, Maharaja Surajmalji, constructed an artificial reservoir, also known as Ajan Dam, so which prevented the water from entering the villages, and it laid the foundation of the national park. And subsequently, with the efforts of Dr. Salim Ali, it became a national park and a renowned world bird sanctuary.
As sir was discussing about the presidential in nature, that question, you said about the political promises, and Rajasthan is going to have an election this year. So what is your viewpoint about election freebies? Should be there or not?
Sir, if we see the issue of freebies, Honorable Supreme Court has said that in one of the cases that freebies can be promised by the political parties. It is their right. And also, if we see the freebies, they cause a fiscal deficit on the state.
Yes.
So freebies which directly contribute to the skill enhancement and certain sectors like education and health of the people can be promoted, but they should not be based on any populist propaganda, and should also look into the fiscal deficit of the state.
Do you think it should be regulated by Election Commission?
Sir, the Election Commission is regulating if I don't know the exact provision, but if the freebies are in a particular case, then Election Commission can declare a party and can seize a political party. There is a issue provision there, and it should be regulated more. And there should be added provisions to the Election Commission so that it can be better able to regulate these things.
Have you heard about the term criminalization of politics and politicization of criminals?
Sir, I've heard the term.
What it is?
Sir, criminalization of politics is that in political parties, the criminals, the candidates having criminal background are giving a preference, and politicization of crime that I don't know, but I'm not.
What are the consequences of that? Criminalization of politics?
Sir, the consequences are that if criminal activities are into politics, then it will not be an ethical background for a political party to function. There can be charges of corruption and other cases which can directly lead to decrease or affect the Indian economy. So these are.
Okay. You were discussing about the literacy ratio about Rajasthan.
Yes, sir.
So, as if you are posted in Rajasthan, what step you will be taking for the improvement of the literacy ratio or education sector?
Sir, if I am posted in Rajasthan, firstly I will look into the data and understand the problem why the literacy rates are declining in the state of Rajasthan. Secondly, I will try to increase the gross enrollment ratio in the schools at the in the primary levels. And if we see as per the data, when the student reaches in the teenage age, for example, in the 14 to 18, there is a maximum dropout of the schools. So because of the child labor and other incidences, so I will try to ensure that authorities are there to look after any such cases. For example, brick manufacturing industry is a big part in Rajasthan where children are employed. So authorities should be checking whether the children are employed and taking suitable actions. And if there is a lack of public infrastructure and in schools and other areas, then I will look into and implement the policies of the government.
So, do you think national education policy, which has been announced, it will help in improving this literacy ratio of Rajasthan?
Sir, I think that national education policy is a good step in increasing the ratio, because it also, if we see the current education problem, there are not been sufficient training and vocational training of the students. So they drop out and they enter any industry and they work for the family. So if there are vocational training courses and fast track training courses as announced in the national education policy, then they don't have to be worried about their employment in the future, and they will continue their education till the age of 18, and then suddenly will be directly employed in any sector.
Western part of Rajasthan is not developed. Why so?
So the main reasons are, firstly, if we see the geography of the western part, it lies in the Thar desert. So it is, if in the agriculture, it is not practically possible there. Secondly, water is not available there. So the major industries and other things cannot be located. And if we see the infrastructure wise, there has been not great development there. So industrial sectors and other industries are not coming there. So these are the main reasons.
You have mentioned about Indo-Asian Solar Challenge. You got the second position. So what do you feel? What are the challenges in solar energy?
Sir, if we see the main challenges in solar energy, the first challenge is that the production of the PV modules. It is largely imported from other countries. We don't have an indigenous production of that. Secondly, in the solar energy, we have started this electric cars, but there has been not sufficient charging infrastructure according to that. And thirdly, the private players are not coming up in great numbers in India. So these are the main challenges.
Why you want to enter civil services?
Sir, the main reason is that during my second year, as I was working in Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, it was a Ministry of Education initiative. So then I countered that if there was any problem in rural area, it has to go around the district administration. So I feel that by being in district administration, I can have a greater impact on the society, which no other service provides. And apart from that, it has a diversity associated with the job, and I can be a part of the policy making in the country. So these are the reasons why I want to join civil services.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you, can villages be the engine of economic development, economic growth?
Sir, the villages can be an engine of economic growth. For example, if we see the budget and the economic survey and the policies of the government in the recent years, like the PM Kisan Sampada Yojana, the Green Revolution, and the other schemes like Prime Minister's formalization of micro enterprises. So there is a focus that agriculture is directly linked with the food processing sector, and focus is that the agriculture and the farmers are becoming entrepreneurs there. So if we link agriculture with the food processing, they are directly providing finished product there, and it will directly increase the income. And moreover, if we see the economic structure of the country, it is primarily dependent on agriculture. So if we do not focus on agriculture, then it will not directly help us to achieve a bigger economy. And also during the COVID era, we have seen that agriculture was growing at the rate of 3.4%, while other sectors were in a negative rate. So the agriculture is resilient. If we focus on it, it can be a driver of economic growth.
But its share in our economy is very less. So even if we grow by say 10%, we are growing agriculture, then also its share will be very less, and resultant income of government taxes will be also very less, because most of the activities we are doing in agriculture is not come under the corporate taxes. So do you think then it will not give that much impact to our economy? Maybe engine of growth, it should have a wider impact.
Sir, the current share is low, but when agriculture is growing simultaneously, other sectors will also grow. It will also provide banking and other facilities around the farmers, like crop insurance and other schemes. So agriculture, as most of the economy, most of the people are directly dependent on agriculture. So it has to be a prime area that the country should focus, and simultaneously other sectors will also grow, and it will be a driver of economic growth.
Do you think stock market is the right barometer to measure the success of any economy?
Sir, stock market is one of the parameters to success in any economy, but apart from that, other decisions are also there. For example, the policies and the stable government is there or not.
Barometer of any successful economy. If a stock market of any country is rising, can we say that that country is progressing economically?
Sir, as it is one of the parameters, we can say that it is progressing economically.